Americans have a long-standing infatuation with the archetype of the lone avenger. Someone who takes the law into their own hands. Someone who steps outside the boundaries, right? To right the wrongs that the system has failed to do. This fascination is woven into the fabric of American storytelling, From frontier justice of the Old West, Western paintings, Western books, Western movies, urban landscapes in comic books with vigilantes, mass vigilantes, taking justice into their own hands. This genre has claimed a permanent seat at the cultural table. Dexter explored the morally complex territory of a killer who kills other killers. Where vigilantism blurs the line between heroism and, monstrosity, I guess you could say. And that is wherein lies the fascination, the drama. Dirty Harry, Charles Bronson, Death Wish, They expunge this brand of street justice in these dystopian, crime-ridden metropolitan areas, right? We side with them as antiheroes because the society they live in is worse than the deeds they are doing. And there's no vigilante more famous than, comic book Batman. Although I would say that one, in the modern age of oligarchs, a billionaire doing anything with his money to improve society, to improve America, that's fiction, right? In this, so I'm not sure if Batman's believable anymore. But the Punisher, on the other hand, is very believable. A soldier turned merciless vigilante who breaks the rules, who murders people, who takes vengeance into his own hands because he lives in a failed system. A system that has failed him, a system that continues to fail those around him every day. The next head of the FBI, Cash Patel, that's Cash with 3 Ks. His previous job before his head of the FBI was taking down terror cells. No, I'm just kidding. Take it down. No, he was infiltrating white supremacist groups. Yeah, that's more like it. He was infiltrating them to recruit them. Cash or credit. His previous job was quite literally shining boots. The head of the FBI, Trump's pick for the head of the FBI, Cash Patel's previous job was literally shining boots with his tongue. Trump is the new Adolf. Welcome to the Chad Report. I'm your host, MJ. I know we haven't been posting that much in December, right? We'll be back in January. We're all gonna get our sea legs back, right? And we're gonna get back into it. Be posting a lot more. We'll get back up to the three episodes a week. But for now, let's just enjoy the quiet before the fascists take over the storm. Anyway, if you end up liking this video, make sure you subscribe, and let's get into it. Vigilantes, the Punisher, Cash or Credit Patel, his law enforcement experience, what qualifies him for the job, is writing kids' books where he fantasizes that Trump is the king. But in addition to that, he's also an Etsy mom. Oh, he's an Etsy mom. Etsy merch of billionaires. You see that on his shirt right there? Etsy merch of billionaires. Trust funder, 4 times bankrupt, 34 felonies, and soon to be America's first autocrat. Cash with 3 Ks puts Trump's toupee on his head and sells it on Etsy. This episode is going to walk a tightrope. I don't want to break any of YouTube's rules about talking about stuff. But the response to Luigi Mangione, I don't know if I said it right, but the response to Luigi.
He was a victim of his time.
Who cares? It's what he did.
He discovered America is what he did. He was a brave Italian explorer. And in this house, Christopher Columbus is a hero. End of story.
In this house, Luigi is a hero. End of story. I'm not here to take sides on this story. I think if you watch this channel, you probably already know where I land on it. But just imagine your dad gets shot in the middle of New York in cold blood, right? There's video of it. Imagine that happens, and 90% of the country celebrates your dad getting shot, right? You go online and chicks are like, Luigi gets to murder my kitty next. The overwhelming response, if I was in this healthcare CEO's family, the overwhelming response would make me think, wow, my dad must have been a huge piece of shit. And the response to it really has nothing to do with that dude's character, right? The CEO guy. I don't even know his name. I don't want to look it up right now. I don't care. I just know him as the healthcare CEO. The overwhelming positive response to an assassination. Crazy to say those words together. He is just a symptom of the helplessness most people in this country feel at the hands of a borderline, soon to be. I mean, not to be a downer, in December, but we're not coming out of this a democracy anymore. Right now, we're a borderline kleptocracy. In 4 years, we're going to be a Russian-style kleptocracy. That healthcare CEO is a symptom of what's happening. And I'm here to argue in this video that Luigi fits the archetype I was talking about of the vigilante anti-hero. And if you want my source on it, this lady's clam right here, right? Ooh, baby, I like it raw. Yeah, baby, I like it raw. Ooh, baby, I like it raw. Shimmy, shimmy, yay, shimmy, yay. There are no real consequences for the ruling class of this country. The only consequence I see for, is being elected president again. The only consequences I see are scraping the bones of education. Don't look at that military budget, Department of Doge, right? Scraping the bones of education so Elon could get more free government money. There are no consequences in this society to the ruling class. And that brings me to cash or credit here. If you were in the old days with Chad, or if you're a member, you've probably seen the video where I talk about the Punisher. I've talked about it before. Basically, the summation of that video is that, the Chuds embrace this symbol right here. They embrace the Punisher while they're promoting and craving a police state. A theme that has emerged on this channel. We'll continue to talk about it. As one of the main reasons I think these people are back in power is the realization of Andrew Breitbart's dream, Politics is downstream from culture. And what has happened is the ruling class in this country was able to purchase culture. Podcasters, influencers, Dana White, he'll spend a pay-per-view to inject culture war issues into sports, just shut up and dribble, keep it out of sports. They do all this to divert from the real issues in this country. The issues why, Luigi acted out. They do all this to divert, to keep you in a culture war. And that culture war has become a culture in its own right that they have purchased. So while you're over there fighting that war on that hill over here, they're picking the bones of this country on this hill over here. And because they use cash for this culture, that's cash with a K, that's cash with 3 Ks, it's inherently empty, right? That's why they put this symbol on their chest, this QAnon Karen, liked by the next head of the FBI. The next head of the FBI liked this tweet because she bought from his Etsy store, right? They're oblivious. She's oblivious to what the symbol on her shirt means. I'm sure she can recite the 14 words perfectly, but she has no idea what's on her shirt that she bought. And I'm going to say it one more time because it is idiocracy to the max. What she bought from the head of the FBI's Etsy store, Frank Castle, the Punisher. Why did he become the Punisher? Right? Because his family was killed by Bruno Costa, a billionaire mobster. Seen right here at Mar-a-Lago. There he is. The Punisher is a reflection, right? It's a result of the failure of cops, of the failure of the system, of the failure of politicians, of indeed the failure of this country. And that's not me doing a deep reading. That's not me inferring, right? The Punisher literally rips a Blue Life sticker off a cop car, tears it up in their face, and says, "You shouldn't be like me. I'm a homicidal psychopath." You know? That was created because GED students who have no power over anybody have one avenue to gain that power, and that's to become a cop. And they will spend their time harassing black kids, harassing anybody, instead of going after the people that killed Frank Castle's family. He's a reflection of their failure. So he tells them, you should be like Captain America. The ultimate irony is that they're unintentionally agreeing that most police are worthless. They're advertising it. Because that's what this symbol means. You know, the creator of the symbol, Jerry Conway, I thought Cash or Credit created it. That's what the QAnon mom says. I thought it was from his Etsy store. Jerry has said the Punisher is anti-cop. And he even gave the actual rights. The next head of the FBI didn't actually have the rights to make a Punisher logo. He gave the actual rights to Black Lives Matter. The Punisher was created because a spoiled billionaire killed his family. And the police cash or credit, 34 felonies were too corrupt. The system, the politicians, the oligarchs were too corrupt to do anything about it. So Frank Castle took it into his own hands. I mean, at this point, is Trump still flying around in Jeffrey Epstein's old plane? He should just put a Punisher logo on it. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying, the culture they've created. It's empty unless you're a complete moron. And from my best estimation, this logo, it started with Chris Kyle. The Chuds took it from him. Chris Kyle, the Chud Rambo 3 was based on. And honestly, Rambo 3 is more believable than this guy's book. Chris the Kid Killer. And if you don't know about Chris Kyle, if you just saw American Sniper, right? And you thought, hey, that's a cool movie, because I did too. I was like, hey, that's a good movie. And then you start looking into him. Well, if you like that movie and you don't want it to be ruined for you for the rest of your life, don't look into who Chris Kyle actually was. That movie says, oh, Chris is a hero. Chris is a hero. He had to kill one brown kid because that kid was about to blow up a town, a battalion of people. It was a hard choice for him to make, right? He didn't kill one brown kid, and they all didn't have bombs. He killed a lot. Chris was a kid killer, right? He rewrote himself as a hero. He said he sniped people during Katrina from the top of the stadium. He said he was sniping looters. Kyle said he found chemical weapons in Iraq. Wow, that would have been helpful. That's what we were all looking for. Not only did he find chemical weapons in Iraq, they came from Germany and France. Chris Kyle had a severe case of, main character syndrome. Kyle said he walked up to Jesse Ventura, punched him in the face, and knocked him out. Just like that, right? Chris Kyle, when he was in Afghanistan, he took down a full Apache helicopter. He took down a full helicopter with just a bow and arrow. Oh, wait, that's Rambo 3. But if you know Chris Kyle and I didn't tell you that was Rambo 3, you probably would have thought it's in that book. And I would say it's only appropriate. It's only appropriate that someone who attempted to make himself a legend, to make himself Rambo, with the dumbest possible stories, the easiest fact check stories ever, I would say that guy bringing the Punisher logo to the Chuds is something like Moses coming down off the hill. It's just perfect. You guys
It was
remember
supposed
this?
to be a made-for-TV moment. Yesterday, Fox News was interviewing Curtis Swilla, the head of the New York City-based vigilante group known for targeting migrants. And they were discussing migrants in New York City when suddenly this happened.
Guys have just taken down one of the migrant
these.
guys right here on the corner,
Bunch of
42nd and 7th.
65-year-olds
While all
with
this
Can you
is
pan the
taking-
camera?
They've taken over. They've taken over. You'd like the camera over there if at all possible.
A bunch of 70-year-old losers dressed as fascists randomly assaulting
you got
people
your
in
key
New York
open,
who call
guys.
themselves vigilantes, right? This is the
is out of
personification
Out
of the
of
Blue
control.
Lives Matter Punisher logo.
So later,
excuse
he was brought
to
back
attack brown
for
people.
an update.
Well, he had been shoplifting first. The guardian angel
had
spotted
to
him,
been.
stopped him. He resisted. And let's just say
Totally
we gave him a little
innocent
pain
kid.
compliance. His mother back in Venezuela felt the vibrations. He's sucking concrete. The cops scraped him off the asphalt. He's on his way to jail.
I guess this is
So
what
according
people
to
do
the
when
New
they
York
don't
City
take up
Police
golf
Department,
when they retire.
none of that is true. Senior media reporter here at CNN, Oliver Darcy, is here.
All right, I can tell you. None of it was true. The kid was innocent. He was just walking by, giving Fox News, harassing a little bit. Because when you see a bunch of 70-year-old guys dressed up in like red as, what do they go for, Marines, of course you're going to make fun of him. So he didn't shoplift. He didn't commit any crimes. He's not from Venezuela. His only crime was making fun of their stupid uniforms. And I remember the comic where Batman threw a Venezuelan kid off a building because he made fun of him for dressing up like a bat. Don't you remember that one? And Sean had it, he covered it. There is something so empty about this. So proudly displayed by the morons. So proudly put on primetime news. Can you pan over? And then something, whether you like it or not, something real happened a couple weeks ago. And really the people that benefited the most from Luigi were Elon's kids. It's the first time they've seen him in years, right? But with him on the run, Elon needed those human shields. You see safety in this country. And I'm not just talking about safety with assassins in the street. I'm talking about not going bankrupt because of medical debt. You can't even go bankrupt because of student debt. You don't even lose that when you're bankrupt. You're just a slave for life. I'm talking about safety from these things. That good old boy Ronald Reagan did just envision a society where money trickles down, where the oligarchs can sprinkle it on you when they need something, right? In this kleptocracy. You see, Ronald Reagan did just envision it that way. Safety is also trickled down. When action is taken against the ruling class, when their safety is in danger, and we all saw this, right? Then there is immediate panic. Because that is the only danger you're supposed to care about. And it makes this guy so much more pathetic. Because that was so real to so many people in this country, what Luigi did, that you can't slap Trump's wig on it and make it something else. Ben Shapiro, Elon Musk, Laura Ingraham, the chud on CNN.
Let me just help you understand. If you're on the American left tonight, here's my chart. The good guys today, Daniel Penny. The bad guys, Luigi Mangione.
See that? They tried desperately to take away from what this was.
We'll dig into it later. The Instagram posts from nutbag people, which I was sent in the commercial break earlier, crazy. Like, he's
You're
cute,
crazy.
and people celebrating this. This is a sickness. Honestly, it's so disappointing, but I guess we shouldn't be surprised. Gentlemen, thank you so much. And up next, the other big news out of New York, Daniel Penny. A lot of people think he's a hero, and tonight he's not guilty. My take next.
You see what I'm saying? This culture that they're trying to purchase, it's so empty. This old mustache right here, she gets on there and tells you that people celebrating, what Luigi did, are insane. They're crazy. But people like Daniel Penny, if you celebrate him as a hero, J.D. Vance taking him out to state dinners. If you do that, you're a good guy. The 2 days after they captured Luigi, I saw like 10 pictures of him. They even had costume changes in just the 2 days, The mainstream media, owned in whole by the ruling class I'm talking about. They all use the same picture. He's an animal! And this one's a hero. Obey. In the entire time that they had Jeffrey Epstein, just as a contrast, in the entire time that they had Trump's friend, Jeffrey Epstein, in custody, saw one picture of him, one mugshot picture. Pictures were so scarce that they didn't have video footage when Trump and Bill Barr hung himself, right? You know what I mean? Yes, I did say that right. It's a great big club and you ain't in it. Frank Castle, as far as I know, he never killed homeless people on the subway. I don't think that was his MO. Frank Castle never had his mom drive him one down over so he could help improve his KD. Speaking of this vigilante hero, you remember when he took a stand against Trump wanting to take the guns away before any crime was committed? Look, I'm a gun owner. I own guns. I actually thought this was a good thing that old Kyle did. You know? Because Trump proposed, and it's still rattling around in his brain somewhere, that the government could take your guns away before you commit any crime. So old Rittenhouse stood out to criticize him. But this brave young kid here was brought to heel by cat turd. Can you imagine if one of Punisher's main nemesis? Can you imagine if a nemesis of his was cat turd, a 60-year-old man born with baby legs and no chin? And just a couple days ago, the billionaire class let out a collective sigh of relief because we're going back to school shootings, right? We're going back to the normal. The oligarchs, the ruling class, they've bought culture. They hollowed it out. They slapped their colors on it. They slapped the toupee on it, right? And by turning Frank Castle into a brand extension, they validated the same lawless corruption and class immunity that gave birth to the Punisher in the first place. Cops wearing the Punisher logo is like pigs wearing bacon. The Chud Report. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. It's your first time. Make sure you subscribe. Thank you to the members sticking around. We're going to ramp up next month. Like I said, I think we all needed a break, right? The next 4 years are going to be... I don't want to be a doomer. It's almost Christmas. But the next 4 years are definitely going to be something. So, I'm going to be here. Going to be posting more. I'm sure I'll put another video up before, but if I don't, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, something. I don't know all the ones. I'm sorry if I missed yours. But I'll see you next time. Chud Report.
Let me just help you understand. If you're on the American left tonight, here's my chart. The good guys today, Daniel Penny. The bad guys, Luigi Mangione. It seems to me...
How do you...